The information provided in this video is sourced from various internet platforms and AI tools like ChatGPT. While we strive for accuracy, please note that some details may be outdated or incorrect. We kindly request you to overlook any unintentional errors. Viewers are advised to verify the facts independently.
A man visits the house of a girl who recently died. Inside her room, he finds a small red hair clip. Without thinking much, he takes it home. But that tiny object turns out to be the biggest mistake of his life. Because from that night, something follows him home. Something invisible, something angry, and something that refuses to leave. Hello everyone, and welcome back. Today we are exploring the terrifying horror movie Dies Irae 2025. The story follows a young architect named Rohan Shankar. Rohan lives a comfortable life in Kerala. His father owns a successful architecture company, and Rohan works there as a lead architect. From the outside, everything in his life looks perfect. But sometimes, a single moment can change everything. One day, Rohan receives shocking news. A former classmate named Kani has suddenly died. The news hits him hard. Years ago, during a college reunion, the two of them briefly reconnected. For a short moment, it felt like something special might happen between them. But life moved on. Now she is gone. Feeling guilty and emotional, Rohan decides to visit Kani's house to pay his respects. When he enters the house, something immediately feels strange. The air feels heavy. The house is quiet. Too quiet. Inside Kani's bedroom, he notices something small on the table. A red hair clip. For a moment, he remembers seeing Kani wearing it during their reunion. Without thinking much, he picks it up and slips it into his pocket. He thinks of it as a small memory. But the moment he walks out of that house, the nightmare begins. That night, Rohan returns home. Everything seems normal. He eats dinner, watches TV, and eventually goes to bed. But sometime after midnight, he wakes up suddenly. At first, he doesn't understand why. Then he hears it, a faint sound. Soft, metallic, and rhythmic. It sounds like someone slowly walking with anklets. Clink, clink, clink. The sound echoes through the dark bedroom. Rohan sits up in bed. His heart begins beating faster. The room is completely empty, but the sound continues. Then suddenly, he feels something touching his hair, as if invisible fingers are slowly running through it. Rohan jumps out of bed in terror. He turns on the light. The room is empty. No one is there. He convinces himself it was just a nightmare. But the next night, things get worse. Around 3 a.m., the bedroom door slowly opens by itself. The hallway outside is completely dark, and from the darkness, the same anklet sound begins again. Slow, patient, getting closer, Rohan freezes. He feels like someone is standing just outside the door, watching him, waiting. And then suddenly, the lights go out. The room becomes completely dark. Rohan fumbles for his phone to turn on the flashlight. But before he can reach it, something grabs his throat. Hard, invisible fingers tighten around his neck. He gasps for air. His body lifts slightly off the bed as if someone unseen is choking him. Rohan struggles wildly. He tries to scream, but no sound comes out. For a few horrifying seconds, he is certain he is about to die. Then suddenly, the pressure disappears. He collapses onto the floor, coughing and shaking. Now he knows one thing for sure. Something is inside his house. Something that wants him dead. Terrified, Rohan remembers a man he met at Kani's house, the neighbor named Madhu Pari. Madhu comes from a family of traditional exorcists. The next day, Rohan goes to meet him. After hearing the entire story, Madhu asks a strange question. Did you take anything from the girl's room? At first, Rohan hesitates. Then he remembers the hair clip. When Madhu hears this, his face turns serious. Because sometimes, when a person dies with strong emotions, their spirit can remain attached to objects. Madhu explains something disturbing. According to old beliefs, a soul does not leave the world immediately after death. It takes 16 days for the spirit to fully move on. During this time, the soul can wander between the living and the dead. Madhu tells Rohan to return the hair clip, but before they can do that, something terrible happens. Rohan's guest, Kiran, who is Kani's brother, comes to visit. That night, while standing on the balcony, Kiran suddenly begins screaming. An invisible force pushes him forward. Before anyone can react, he is thrown over the railing. He crashes onto the ground below. His body lies motionless. He survives, but he falls into a coma. Now the situation becomes even more terrifying. This spirit is not just haunting the house. It is attacking people. Rohan and Madhu begin investigating deeper into Kani's past, and what they discover is horrifying. The spirit haunting the house might not even be Kani. Instead, it might belong to someone far more dangerous. Someone who was obsessed with her. Someone who refused to let her go, even after death. Their investigation leads them to an abandoned section of the house. Inside a locked room, they discover something horrifying. A hidden corpse. The body belongs to a man who had secretly stalked Connie for years. After dying from illness, his body was hidden in the house, but something else was hidden with it. An anklet. Madhu realizes the truth immediately. The spirit attached itself to the anklet. As long as the anklet exists, the spirit will remain trapped in this world. Madhu prepares a ritual to destroy it, but the moment the ritual begins, the spirit attacks. Furniture begins shaking, windows slam shut. A violent wind fills the room, and a terrifying shadow appears on the wall. The spirit does not want to leave. In a desperate moment, Rohan grabs an axe. He swings it down and cuts the corpse's leg to remove the anklet. Madhu throws the anklet into a burning fire. The entire house echoes with a horrifying scream. A scream that sounds both human and something far more evil. Then suddenly, everything becomes silent. The spirit is finally gone. But as the flames spread through the house, one terrifying question remains. Did the nightmare truly end, or did something else escape with them? The fire slowly dies down. For a moment, everything becomes quiet again. Too quiet. Rohan stands there, breathing heavily, trying to calm his racing heart. Madhu looks at the burned anklet and nods slowly. It's over, he says, but Rohan doesn't feel relief. Something inside him still feels wrong. Over the next few days, life slowly returns to normal. The strange sounds disappear. The doors stop opening by themselves, and the terrible nightmares finally end. Rohan begins to believe that the spirit is truly gone. But deep inside, a small feeling of fear still remains. Because sometimes, evil does not disappear so easily. A week later, Rohan prepares to leave for America. His father wants him to supervise a new project there. It feels like the perfect opportunity to start fresh, to leave the nightmare behind. But the night before his flight, something strange happens. Something that will prove the horror is not over yet. Rohan stands there shaking. His mind races with fear. Madhu said the spirit was destroyed. So what is happening now? Then suddenly, he remembers something terrifying. The hair clip. The small red hair clip he took from Connie's room. In all the chaos, he never returned it. Slowly, Rohan walks toward his desk drawer. His hands tremble as he pulls it open. Inside the drawer, the hair clip is still there. But something is different. The metal surface is now dark, almost black, as if it has been burned. And as Rohan stares at it, the clip suddenly moves. Very slightly, all by itself. At that moment, Rohan realizes the horrible truth. The spirit was never attached to the anklet. It was attached to the hair clip. The room suddenly becomes cold. Freezing cold, Rohan slowly steps back. The lights flicker violently, then the drawer slams shut by itself, and the anklet sound begins again. But this time, it is inside the room. Clink, clink, clink. Something is walking slowly around him. Invisible, watching him. Waiting. Rohan backs toward the door, trying to escape. But the door suddenly slams shut. The lights go out. Complete darkness fills the room. For several seconds, there is only silence. Then a shadow slowly appears behind him. A twisted human shape, tall, unnatural. Its head tilts slowly to one side, and two glowing eyes appear in the darkness. Rohan's terrified scream echoes through the house. The screen cuts to black, and the movie ends with one final terrifying message. Some spirits never leave. Late that night, Rohan is alone in his bedroom. The house is completely silent. Outside, the wind blows softly through the trees. Rohan lies in bed, scrolling through his phone. For the first time in weeks, he finally feels relaxed. Then suddenly, he hears it again. Clink, 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 the sound of anklets. Rohan freezes. His heart begins pounding violently. Slowly, very slowly, he sits up in bed. The room is dark. The hallway outside is empty. But the sound continues, closer now. Clink, 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 Rohan whispers to himself. That's impossible! The anklet was destroyed. The spirit was supposed to be gone. But the sound continues moving toward his bedroom, step by step until it stops right outside his door. The bedroom door slowly creaks open. Rohan stares at the doorway in horror, but there is nothing there, just darkness. For a few seconds, everything is silent again. Then suddenly, the bed sinks slightly, as if someone invisible just sat down beside him. Rohan cannot breathe. He slowly turns his head. The mattress moves again. Something is crawling across the bed, toward him. His body begins shaking with fear. He reaches for the light switch, but before he can touch it, a cold hand grabs his wrist. The grip is tight, unnaturally strong, and a whisper slowly echoes beside his ear. A whisper that sounds broken and angry. You took it! Rohan screams and jumps off the bed. He turns on the lights, but the room is empty again. Completely empty. The screen stays black for a few seconds. Rohan's terrified scream echoes in the darkness. Then suddenly, everything becomes silent. The next morning, the police arrive at Rohan's house after neighbors report hearing a loud scream during the night. When they enter the bedroom, the room looks completely normal. The lights are on, the windows are closed, nothing appears broken, but Rohan is sitting quietly on the edge of his bed, completely still. The officers ask him what happened, but Rohan doesn't answer. He just stares straight ahead. His face is pale, his eyes look empty, almost as if something inside him has changed. The police assume he is simply in shock and eventually leave the house. Later that day, Rohan prepares to leave for the airport. He slowly packs his bags and walks out of the house. For a moment, everything seems normal again. But as he places his suitcase in the car, the camera slowly moves back toward the bedroom window. Inside the empty room, the desk drawer slowly slides open by itself. And inside the drawer, the red hair clip is still there. But this time, something else is beside it. A second anklet, and the faint sound returns once again. Clink, clink, clink. The sound slowly fades as the screen turns black, meaning the spirit was never truly destroyed. It simply found a new place to stay, and maybe a new person to follow. And that's where the story finally ends. If you enjoyed this horror story, don't forget to like the video. And if you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss the next story. Also comment below and tell me which movie you want me to explain next. Your suggestion might become the next video on this channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next story.